Hello, everyone, and what? Did I? Yeah?
No, I did something. Okay, we're good.
Are we live?
Yeah, we're live. I was on the.
Okay.
I did something.
Hello,
Ignore
everyone.
the Vince
The
being.
man behind the curtain. Ignore Vince behind the curtain. Hello, everyone, and welcome to an episode of Dice and Dudes. Dudes build a dungeon. Had a viewer of ours recommend that we do something like this since I build tiles for my small business and all that good stuff. What? Don't.
We are live.
Sorry about that, everybody. We're having some technical difficulties here on my end. But we did have a one of our viewers recommend that we do something like this, have some fun with some dungeon building, and show you guys how I go about creating encounter areas. Now, this is going to be an exact replica of what I do because you guys are going to get to do some voting tonight on what I'm going to build and what features and other things are going to go inside. Now, we do have some limitations on the features because I only have about a third of my tiles currently with me, and we're going to be going with David's generic dungeon. We're going to be using that tile set exclusively. So once we have some of this stuff built up, or once I can pick up the rest of the stuff, after the plague ends, I'll be able to pick up the rest of my stuff, and I'll have more, even more things to work with. So right now, we're just going to be kind of limited to what I currently have. But yeah, today we're hoping to get some input from chat, and we're hoping to get some input from uh, Sonia and Vince to get this encounter area built, and you will definitely see this encounter area that we build. You will see it on an episode of Dyson Dudes. So that is going to be something that's pretty cool. I think pretty cool. Yeah, so tonight we are going to be brought to you guys by our old sponsors again. Our good friends over at Game Vault. Their online store is up, and I'm not going to announce something else, but if you're listening to the chat, hey, we don't get a whole lot of people listening to us anyway. So they are now testing out their kitchen, and I just picked up sandwiches from them last night. We got the turkey and Swiss for pretty much everybody in the house, and a BLT, and they are delicious. Corey's fresh baked bread is fantastic. It was perfect for a hoagie roll, so that was great. If you're able to, if you know Lindy, you can contact her and you can set up how you can, you can ask her how you can purchase the food. They're probably going to do a soft opening on the food, so that's good. They're not going to just straight out announce it to everybody because they don't want to get overwhelmed. But I can tell you, Corey is a hell of a cook. He really knows what he's doing. We are also brought to you by our friends at MGS, or My Game Store, brought to you by Military Gamer Supply. Vince, we don't have a lot of information about them yet, right?
Not right now.
Okay, but they will be, they will be reopening. When that happens, we will definitely be letting you guys know. We'll be in contact with them, so we will know soon what Game Vault and what they're going to do. I'm hoping Game Vault can open later on this month because, frankly, I just miss hanging out with all you guys and all the board gamers and everything else. I just miss you guys, so that'd be really cool if we could do some good old board gaming again because I definitely miss it. Um, so yeah, tonight's gonna be something a little different, just a little something for us to, uh, just a little bit of something for us to, you know, talk to chat and have some fun. I know we've been rolling up characters a lot lately on here, so we just wanted to have a quick change of pace, and you guys can see how my tile system works and how I build most of these encounter areas, not including the Roaring Mine, as that was meant to be reused over and over and over again and pulled out quickly. So that was built as a single piece set. Uh, but yeah, I'm gonna go ahead. We're gonna give some people some time. I know I had a few people that said they wanted to come in. They definitely wanted to place their votes on what we'd be going on. So, guys, oh, we should go ahead and tell them about what we're going to be doing tomorrow night, right?
What are we doing tomorrow night?
That's a great question, Vince, and thank you for it. So, what we're going to do, we're going to be continuing with the Wizards. We had so much fun in the Roaring Minds with that group that the group asked me if we could continue some of their shenanigans. And while we're not going to be running a Limitless Adventures encounter tomorrow, we are using the characters from the Limitless Encounter adventure to for this. This is something of my own design. We'll see how it goes. I mean, I'm not a professional adventure writer like the guys over there at Limitless Adventures, but I do. I'm gonna try my best. I'm gonna try to make something fun and interesting for you guys to have a good time with. So yeah, if you guys are here and in the chat, definitely let us know when you get here. So once we have a few people, we will go ahead and start the voting and figure out what we're going to be doing
Did
tonight.
you want me to go ahead and bring that image up, David?
Yeah. Let's go ahead and bring the image up.
Alrighty. There we go. So these are your choices. You can vote for 1, 2, 3, or A, B, C.
Yeah. So basically, what it is like 1, 2, and 3 are kind of like a single room style encounter area. This would be more like a boss fight area or a complicated fight area. All of the areas are kind of broken up a little bit. Number 1 will have elevation, so it'll be like going up to an altar. Number 2 has a lot of those little hallways where we can have people and enemies hiding around, or the adventurers could hide around. The third one, we could turn that into doors separating the areas, or we could do that in archways separating the areas. But it's mainly for like that one encounter that it would be like a boss fight style. A, B, and C are multiple rooms. I know C looks like it's mainly just one big old room, which is fine, but that would be, I think that one would do well for like a library. You know, you would have like the forbidden section behind the doors and maybe like the advanced section down to the south, and we could put a bunch of bookcases and stuff in there. Unless you guys want to go with something else like a torture chamber, whatever you guys want to do. B is, I just like the look of B. I love it's aesthetically pleasing to my eye. So I enjoy B. And A is more like what you would see in a typical dungeon, like a little regular dungeon crawl, kind of like what we did with the Atlamana's Embrace. That's that kind of style where it's multiple rooms. There may be secret doors and stuff like connecting them together, but it's not entirely just a straight out, encounter, a singular encounter area. Could be broken up into multiple encounters.
Well, that's nice, man. I dig that.
Yeah, I think they're looking pretty decent. I don't have a problem with them too much. I'm gonna be going through containers and stuff, so I'm hoping not to make too much noise because I have all of my dungeon features in about 5 different boxes. So if I'm getting too loud with my constantly opening and closing this stuff, just scream at me and I will stop.
Or I could mute you.
That's true. You could mute me. You have that power.
And with great muting power comes great responsibility. Probably shouldn't have given it to me.
Right? Probably shouldn't have given it to you. That is for truth.
But what are you going to do, right?
I have no idea.
You don't know what you're going to do? How come we don't know
I
what
never
you're
know.
going to do yet?
I never know what I'm going to do.
All right. Do we have any votes? Any votes at all?
Nothing yet. We don't have a whole lot of people in the chat yet.
I would like to vote for number 3.
I say number 2.
So we got 1 vote for number 2 and 1 vote for number 3 so far.
God,
Very
why couldn't
nice.
you just
Very
vote
nice.
along with me, Sonia?
Because I'm being spiteful.
I like the suggestive nature of number 3.
I knew you would. I knew you would immediately go in that direction.
I'm just
I
saying,
try-
man.
I told him it looked like butts.
Sure, let's
I
go
think
with
he means-
butts.
Yeah, I think he means more of like a penis, but you know.
I was being a little more PG, okay?
This is not a PG channel.
I know, but there are PG ears listening to us.
So for the
Sure.
not PG ears,
Yeah.
it looks like you got a little hair patch and I don't know what to say with the end there. Hmm.
Well, I guess it's a double ender. I mean, I don't know.
I don't know. Maybe it's an anatomical diagram.
Of what?
Ooh.
You know, that is one thing that I have wanted to do for a while is create a dungeon out of like a giant leviathan's body.
That would be cool, dude.
Yeah, I think that would be freaking awesome. There is potential for something similar like that to happen in the Guns of All campaign, depending on like what you guys do. Because what I love
Spoiler
about that
alert.
campaign is, well, no. What I love about that campaign is anything can happen, like literally anything. With our previous campaign, you knew what was going to have to do with Strahd. I couldn't go too far off script, because I still had to, do the overall story. Since there is no overarching goal yet, anything can happen. I love that.
Ah.
If we do Leviathan's body, Cheer would want to harvest so much. So much.
Well, of course.
Oh, all the samples.
Yes, and Gunnar can help carry them.
I'm gonna go with a big no on that.
Until you discover that your bag is full of everything.
Nope.
Don't
There
worry. I would sneak stuff in with Fanny too, since, she's got the pouches.
Probably a better choice.
That's
Problem
true.
is, the problem is the pouches' mouths don't open very big, so you'd have to be like cutting up your samples and stuffing them in.
I could squeeze stuff in there. I mean, it's not like Kyle would really protest. I mean, the most I'll get is a
That's true. That would probably be the most you would get.
So, how are we doing on choices so far?
Well, so far it's just the two of you. Hoping to get some more people in chat here pretty quick. But if not, in the next few minutes, we will just start building and they can vote on stuff later.
Sounds good.
So, for anyone who has just joined us, the options we have available are right in front of you 1, 2, and 3, or A, B, and C. So far, we have a vote for 2 and a vote.
She means a vote for 3. I know she cut off there at the end.
She was gonna say 3.
Sorry.
3 is obviously
Two.
the best choice. So.
2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2.
Well, a bit of my philosophy on some of this building is I like to try to keep all of my areas, my encounter areas, to a 10 by 10 of tile area. And since each of my tiles are 10 feet by 10 feet, that is 100 foot by 100 foot. A lot of people ask me like how I set up the sizes of my encounter areas, and I basically go, I try to fill out, especially if it's like a multi-area dungeon, multi-room dungeon. I do try to set up as large of an area as I can that's interconnected, so that way the players have a choice on what direction they want to take the battle or how they want to approach a fight. Instead of me just you open a door and the enemies attack. Like in Atlamana's Embrace, they had the choice of like what hallways to go down, which entryways to do, and the enemies obviously they reacted to the directions that they went and tried to counter and tried to ambush it whenever they could, and a couple of times they weren't able to because the party had basically the cliche of headed them off at the pass.
Aha. So why do you try to keep it 100 by 100? Why not go a little bit bigger?
Just because 100 by 100, all of my tiles use the 1.25-inch grid as opposed to the 1-inch grid. To me, it helps the miniatures sit more easily in the grid, as well as if I have like 2 or 3 walls on a tile, I can still put 4 characters on that tile even with 3 walls. 4 walls it gets a little tight, but 3 walls I can still fit 4 medium-sized miniatures within that tile.
That makes
And
sense.
100 by 100, that's like 20. What is it? That's 25 inches for 100 by 100. So it's a little over 2 feet by 2 feet.
So you got a good 2x2 playing board.
Yeah, exactly. So I think 2 feet by 2 feet is a pretty good combat area. I think that size is not too bad.
Well,
For anyone out, for any of the new people joining us, We do have voting up. Uh, you can vote. We're building encounter areas tonight. You can vote for 1, 2, 3, or A, B, and C. They're currently on the board. We're gonna let this, or are currently on the screen. Excuse me. We're gonna let this go for a little bit longer. We only got currently a vote for 2 and a vote for 3. So basically, you can get in real quick and sway opinion very fast. This is when your vote matters. You cast a vote, and this one's really gonna count. I mean, hell, one person votes now, and that's you're a third of the total voting populace.
So, while we're waiting on votes, why don't you lay out some of your tiles and take us through the basics?
Yeah, sure. So this tends to be the basic tile. Like this is actually what's on my business card. It's just a typical one wall tile. You'll use a lot of these, especially if you want to do. Larger areas. This is probably the most common tile. If you go on the dwarvenforge.com, this is literally like the one of the sample tiles that they'll send you for like they'll send you 3 of these for like $6 or $7 or something like that, just so you can see them. So this tile gets used. Like I'm going to use this tile a lot. I'll be using a lot of these tonight. So I got like 25 of them currently on my table, ready to be used. I make these myself. All of my tiles are made out of XPS foam and foam core to a lesser extent. Typically, I have resorted to simply using foam core, which is like foam board that you can get at like Dollar Tree, which is where I get it. One 20-inch by 30-inch board is $1, and that goes a long way for me. It's something like 90 tiles that I can get out of that. And I typically only use them now for the base. So the base of these will be like the white tile. Let me see if I have any that I can. Yeah, hold on a sec. I can grab some real quick. Give me 1 sec. Okay, so like if you ever had to do one of your like school projects where you had to put like something on a poster board, you'd have a poster board like this. Now this one I've already removed the paper on both sides, and I just want the foam in the middle. And this is what I'll use. Like I don't know if you can see because it's white, but this one has some indentations here. Let me see if I can get you guys a little more light. There's indentations here of like different forms that I've tried to press into them to see how well that works. So this is just kind of a test piece, but I'll still be able to use this piece for a lot of different things. So this is typically what I make the flooring out of almost everything that I do now. Even on most of my buildings, it'll still be this kind of board. At this point, I know I used to leave paper on one side, but I would find that they would start to curl over time, and it got to the point where you'd have to literally break the piece in order to flatten it. I discovered that if I remove the paper on both sides of it, that tends to not happen. So, we got flooring. This stuff is great for flooring. I don't use it for too much else anymore because I have fallen head over heels in love with this stuff. This is a weird cut piece. This is actually a remnant of the Escape from the Roaring Mines encounter areas. I love this stuff. You can get it at Home Depot. You can get it at Lowe's. Home Depot tends to sell the pink stuff, and I think Lowe's sells the green stuff. They're basically the same thing. I haven't seen any difference personally. I do love this stuff quite a bit. I get a lot of use out of it. I will make individual bricks, like literal tiny little bricks that I will use to build buildings. I love doing that. You can't really get a building that looks like it's made out of brick without putting in the actual time and work. You can try texture rollers and all that, but it'll never look quite as good as you literally laying the bricks out like you're a tiny little bricklayer. Like I am like a tiny little mason guy, and I build houses literally brick by brick in a lot of cases. And this stuff I'll use for that. The walls that you see on these, the doors that you'll see on these, all of the features and stuff, they're all made out of XPS foam. So this stuff, I use it in so much in all of my builds. This isn't really a tutorial on how I make my tiles. If you guys have an interest in seeing how I make my tiles, I can put up a short video on that. There are better people out there for that stuff, but like Black Magic Craft and Wylock's Armory. Both of those guys, they do a lot of tiles. They don't do them quite like I do. I've taken a couple of things that they do and incorporated into what I do, just because they've been doing it for a lot longer than I have. But I don't make my stuff like they do. Like Wylock stuff, he uses like an eighth of an inch wall just to give you an idea of where the walls are supposed to be, and then he has like clip-on features. I like walls, man. I do. I mean, it can make it hard to see sometimes, but I like walls too much. I can't go with anything else. I can't switch to anything else. This is walls are it for me. I got to keep the walls up, and these are about the tallest walls I've ever made. I want to go any taller than this. This is but I think 1 inch or 32 millimeter or 28, excuse me, 28 millimeter figures that Dungeons and Dragons use. They fit on this size perfectly, so you can tell like if somebody's really tall, they'll be coming up almost to the height of the wall. But most figures, you get a really good sense of how big the miniature is. On these here, I use an interlocking system. Now, this system I did get from Wylock. It's a good idea that he uses, but I made some pretty hefty modifications on my own. Like I use double the chipboard because I got tired of destroying the edges of my tiles, just ripping them apart, trying to put them together. So what I do is I basically make a chipboard. Chipboard is like really dense cardboard. It's not as flimsy as cardboard is. It is very, very tough. I love it. I use medium weight graphics chipboard. They are not a sponsor, but that is what I use, and I use them a lot for almost everything I do. I will take 4 pieces and a central support, and I will glue them onto one of these 2.5-inch brown pieces of chipboard. Then I will take another piece and glue it on top, which will create these holes right here that I can place these pegs into. And placing these will help give the structure, rigidity. So like if I want to put these two together, I can literally link them up and boom, there we go. It's like that's together now, and that will stick pretty good as long as I put in every a piece of these pegs that I can. As long as I use all the pegs that are available on a build, I can literally pick that entire build up with my hands and move it around. I don't need an underboard. Now I still use an underboard just because it makes my life easier, and I'm very clumsy and I don't want to destroy my tiles. But like I have a few videos on my Facebook channel where you see, I think it's like a 4-foot by 4-foot dungeon I built, and I pick the whole thing up. So this does give it a lot of structural integrity. And since the actual like the apparatus of the that the pegs slide into, since they're all one solid piece, they're not affecting the tile on top, which is what I don't like about Wylock stuff. Is eventually this would tear off of the support beneath, and you'd have to re-glue it back together. With what I do now, that hasn't happened since. Like now that I have this new system, that hasn't happened. So the entire dungeon that I make tonight, I'll be pegging the whole thing, and I'll show you guys like my process of how I create an encounter area, and then we'll peg it, and then we'll put the features in it and stuff like that, and we'll continue from there. So sadly, I haven't seen anybody else voting for us, which is unfortunate. I don't see anything else happening in the chat. So what do you guys want to do? How do you guys want to break this tie?
You know what? Go ahead and do area 2. That looks like a decent area.
Okay, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to go with area 2. So I'm going to keep this thing handy so that way I can get an idea of what I'm going to do. All right, so let's go ahead and get into this. Okay, I'm going to put that peg back. I'm going to take me a sip of my energy drink.
Thank you, Ben.
You're welcome. You owe me.
Okay. So first off, this area here, how do we want to use this thing? Do we want to use this thing as a boss encounter style area, or do we want like a multiple person encounter area? What do we want, guys?
I think a multiple opponent encounter area is fun. I always like those complex encounters.
Yeah, me too. I really like those. Even if it's like a central boss with a bunch of minions, but that's something important to know, because normally when I build an encounter area, I think of the enemies I want to use first, and then I build the encounter area after it.
Well, it makes sense tailoring your opposition to the encounter.
Yeah, and I'll think about you guys too. Like I'll think of things like, okay, what do you guys use a lot of like energy types that can really screw up an enemy? You know, I'll throw in a few of those in there so you guys can benefit from your choices. At the same time, I'll put in other enemies that are like you guys are weak to do something. I'll put some of them in just to make the, you know, to buff the difficulty up. Kind of like it the CR system in D&D is a little weird sometimes, and sometimes it doesn't like adequately reflect how hard a combat could be. So I do have to take that stuff into account. So almost every encounter I build, I'm looking at your characters while I'm building it.
That
So
makes sense. I think also what you do is you kind of plan out how hard you want that encounter to be.
yeah, yeah, definitely. I got to think of like I think of it as the overall structure. Since you guys aren't the sleep happy people, I don't like those groups that want to sleep after every combat because to me that doesn't make sense. You know,
Yeah.
why would you want to do that? Like that kind of defeats the purpose. So I will tailor to that. If you guys continue to carry on, there may be some times that I'll adjust something, make it just a little easier, like enemy wise, because it's already harder because your resources are lower. So it's still the same kind of difficulty without it becoming, you know, just overwhelmingly hard. And it benefits you guys, the decisions that you make to keep going.
Well, it appears that we do have a vote in the chat for the, well, they're saying multi-person combat. So,
Yeah.
woo.
Okay, so yeah, multi-person combat. Okay, so one of the first things that we're gonna do with this one is, um, I like the idea of the hallways being connected to this main room, but I don't like the idea of having doors on every single one of those. I like the idea of having archways. What do you guys think?
I think archways are nice.
Yeah, let's do archways.
Okay, so we're gonna do some archways. We may have to do some doors, but let's try to get as many archways into this as we can. So archways here. Let me grab some archways. Alrighty. Let's see what we can do.
Sorry, everyone. He's kind of away from the mic while he's
Yeah,
picking up.
yeah. Currently picking up some stuff. Okay,
Sorry
so
about the sneeze, guys. I could not contain
Oh.
it.
no worries, man. No worries. Okay, so on this one, what we can do is my tiles. I used to have doors that I would literally slide over the walls so that way I could put doors anywhere. But I have this thing about having things like work the way they're supposed to. So like my doors all, you know, they all function like doors are supposed to. And I can't do that with a clip-on feature with, you know, with like something that slides over the wall. I can't do that and not make it look good. Because then one side would move and the other side wouldn't, obviously. So I have now with my newest set, I've built the doors actually into the walls themselves. So one issue that I do have with this new set is I can't build something and then place walls where I want. I do have to be cognizant of where I'm going to put my doors beforehand. So first off, we will go ahead. We'll start with that one. So that's going to be our first piece. And then we're going to start building around. Now I have a bunch of different styles that I do: single wall, 2 wall, 3 wall, 4 wall, some archway walls, stuff like that. So we're going to be incorporating as many of these into this as we can. Now, we may not be able to follow this exactly. As I said, you know, I am using about a third of my current built stuff, and I did just have a very large sale of this David's generic tile set. So we're working with what we got today. So we'll try to get this as close to that picture as we can. So we have our first wall here, and we're gonna need some angular walls next to it. So if you guys every once in a while, Vince, if you want to put it the picture so that way they can have a reference on what we're doing.
Alrighty.
I have the picture right next to me here. So we have that wall, we have that first section there. Now the next section is going to be a little odd. So what we're going to have to do with this is we're going to have to start figuring out how we're going to set up the walls. Now, one of the things about this is you do got a plan, you know, a little bit. Not, I mean, you can just kind of play around and throw things together, and that sometimes you'll just get stuff that works really, really well. But you do have to be aware of what you're doing. So what we're going to do here is we're going to take the archway walls that we got. I'm not sure I have enough for this whole build, so we're going to try to put in as many as we can. I think I only got 4 of the straight wall ones. I have a ton of angles, But if we want, we could maybe even change up this just a little bit and try to make it our own. This is just something I made in about 5 minutes, so no worries if we got to change it, right?
All right.
Sometimes
So that picture with the diagram is in the top right corner or top left corner of the screen now.
sounds good. Alrighty.
So if you build away from the
So,
top left corner, they should be able to see everything on both.
alrighty. Okay, so I'm gonna grab me a couple of double wall things real quick. So give me 1 sec. I think I did not bring out.
And just a reminder, everyone, we are doing build number 2.
Yes, we are. We're doing build number 2. Okay, so we have here. We're gonna go ahead and we're gonna make this section here. Then we need another angle wall, which we will go ahead and set there. Then we need another one of these walls right here. Oh, actually, I think that could work pretty well. It won't have the archway, but it can be. Wow, I don't know why my voice cracked there. Maybe I'm going through second puberty. But that can be set up right there. Let's go ahead and start on the other side real quick. Let's go ahead and get another one of these. Let's get another corner wall. Another one of these. And then another one of the angle walls. Okay, so I think that's looking pretty decent so far. Now, we're not worried about having it set up perfectly yet because obviously we're not setting it up to be perfect yet. We're just trying to get our layout done. So let's go ahead and start the next portion of this. So the next portion, what we're going to do is we're actually going to have these set up there. Actually, we want to be able to see them when we walk in. Since I only got 2 more, we'll set them up like this. And we will set up this guy right here in the middle. Now that may look a little weird right now, but you're going to see what I'm doing. Thankfully, I do have a lot of practice with these guys, so I'm able to do some interesting things. So let's see here what we can do. All right. So now let's go ahead and get that guy set up there. Let's get this guy set up here. And then this one's going to have a lot of corners. That's okay. That's okay. So we're going to have that now. Distance may become a little thing here, but we'll get that set up as we go. We'll have that guy there. We'll have that guy there. That guy there. That guy there. And that guy there. Okay, so we're actually, it doesn't look like it, but we're almost done with this build already. So we'll get that. We'll get this. And then, see, we're going to need a lot of these straight wall suckers. That's okay. All right. So right now, we currently have built the basic structure of our encounter area. Now, again, we don't have as many of these archways as I'd want. I'd actually want 4 more just to keep the aesthetic going in the room. I do have those made, but they are not currently at where I'm currently sitting. So we're just going to have to deal with what we got for right now. Then we're going to take these no wall tiles and we're going to fill up the rest of the area with them. And that's going to give us our thing. Now we can make some decisions here if we want. We can try to change out some of these open areas for doors and things like that, however we want to do it, but we can make those decisions once we have all this set up. Now this should be an 8x7 area, which is a pretty sizable area once you see it. I mean, this is a 3 foot by 3 foot table. So, you can get an idea of how big this area is from that. And each one of these tiles is 2.5 inches by 2.5 inches for each one of these. So that can also give you an idea of the kind of area that we're looking at. Now, this is a big open area right now that we currently have here in the center of this. So if we really wanted to, we could cut down on some of the size of this depending on what you need. Like, I tend to run groups of 5 or 6 people, and I tend to have some characters that really love to run around and try to make make trouble for me, wherever they are. Um, let's actually do a couple. Let's change a couple of things up. Let's take some of these out. Let's get, instead of that, let's try this and see how that looks instead. Yeah, I like that better. I like that better. So here's what we'll do. We can just put one of these. Hey, Sally, how you doing? We are currently creating an encounter area, and then we got to figure out what we're going to put inside this encounter area.
Hey, Sally.
There we go. That now matches kind of the upper area of this. I don't know if you can see everything on the map, but this is that encounter area. Pretty closely replicated. Like I said, we're missing some of the archways, but that's okay. And then, yeah, I think we are almost ready to go. What do you guys think? Should we change out these two here for an angle and an angle here, or not? Or just keep those just how they are?
I think we're good with the angle.
Angle. Okay, so let's go ahead and take these two out, and let's do this. Let me grab a couple more of these real quick. Thankfully, I do have a couple hundred of these tiles right now. So what we'll do here is we'll actually put this one here, and we'll put the angle one right there. Put this one here, and put the angle right there. Oh, excuse me. I swear I don't have the Rona. Not again. Only the one time.
He's never had the Rona.
That you know of. Okay. So yeah, I think I think I like the way they're fitting together that way. I think that works just a little bit better. What do you guys think?
Oh, yeah, I like that.
Okay, so I'm gonna grab something real quick. Let me see if I can put this on a support. I do like having my little kind of serving trays for my tiles. And I'm looking at one right now. I think it's the right size. So let me grab that one real quick. Give me 1 sec.
In the meantime, how is everyone doing in chat? And Vince, how are you doing?
Yeah, that'll work. That'll work.
So
People are distracted tonight. That's cool. That's cool. So this will work. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna transfer all of this stuff over. But what we're gonna do first, before we do that, is we're gonna build this thing up. We're gonna give this thing, some structure to it. Okay. So are we happy with this setup, guys?
Wait, do you have any of those grate tiles? The grates.
Yeah, I have grates.
Should we add some of the grates to the center?
All the current grate tiles I have walls attached, so that we could do that, but we're gonna have to do that in very few areas. Most of them will be in the outside of it where we can put the grates. But we could have one grate here, and then the other 4 grates around. Would you want to do that? All right.
Yeah, I say let's go for it. Let's add some spice to this dungeon.
for a full load, though, it's not. That's
So
not
this
part-
dungeon has some underground water in it.
I like it. I like.
baby.
What do you guys think? You guys like that? I mean, it does give it a splash of color too.
No, I like it. I like that build, man. I like the grates. That gives you a little color. It gives you something else.
Yeah, it definitely gives you
Yeah.
something for your eye to draw to, which could be. You guys know that I like to put a lot of visual cues in my builds for you guys, because you guys really like to look at that stuff, and some of us don't have the best imaginations. So sometimes it's good to have it staring you in the face, so that way you can tell what's going on.
Well, I think part of
So-
it is playing with you and you giving us interactive environments.
That's true too. I mean, I have
Mhm.
shot myself in the foot with that a few times. Okay,
We
so
all know.
we like this.
Yeah, it looks good, man.
All right, cool. So
Looks
here's what we're
fantastic.
gonna do. Looks fantastic. Thank you. I'm glad to hear that. Now we all want this to be the same level, correct? We don't want to have any elevation on this. Or are we good with it just like this?
Should we go with elevation?
I
What do you
think
think, Vin?
we've got plenty of time. Why don't we try another one of the builds and do some elevation with that one?
Oh, sounds good to me. Yeah, because I think we got some time to work through this. We may be able to do two areas. I can break out some features too and show you guys like what I typically do with stuff like this. Because I do have, like I said, about 5 cases of different features for this. Since we
So
do have water in this area, I got a pretty decent water feature that we could use on that. You know, something right there, like maybe right in the middle.
nice.
Oh,
So
yes.
here's an idea. How about you populate this like you were going to build a terrain encounter for a party that was going through, and then we can pop off to break and then do the elevated, more complex build after break. Maybe some people could toss some votes for our second build on there.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, let's do that. Okay, so let me show you guys how I would put this thing together completely and how I'd give it, some structure. So that way, if I have to move it around, it doesn't all just fall apart. I'm not saying I'm better than Matt Mercer or Critical Role, but several times during their games, you've seen somebody screw up an entire dungeon because they hit it and they have to fix it, which is one of the reasons I created my tile system. Is I'm clumsy. So if I have them all together, that doesn't happen. So let me show you guys like what that looks like and what we can do with that. All right, so the way that I do it is I do it by rows or columns, and then you go the other way. So what we're gonna do here is, first off, this single one, I'm gonna put it to the side because I can put that one on the end. So we're gonna take this one here, we're gonna put one of the clips, put it in the side, put another clip on this one, and then put it in the side. Now that row is good to go until the rest are put together. Okay, so then we're gonna put these. Now we're gonna do this like I would do for our regular typical Wednesday game in our studio, because I actually keep these under lock and key in a different room, so that way the players don't know what's happening. They don't know what they're gonna see. So they're in a different room and they're covered, so that way no one accidentally sees anything. Uh, so I have to carry it literally through a house, and the hallways in this house are not the widest. So it can be a little bothersome. So I make sure that all of them are set up the way this is. So that's a couple of rows already done. Now this may look like it takes a lot of time, but when you really look at how much time you spend when you're building a dungeon, like on a grid, like on just 1 inch by 1 inch grid paper, doing it yourself, or throwing down dungeon tiles from D&D, one of their dungeon tile sets, you'll see that the time is fairly comparable. It doesn't take a whole lot of time to do this, and since you're going to get a lot of use out of this, it's one of the reasons I use tiles instead of singular encounter areas, because I can use them over and 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 over again. My first set of dungeon tiles I used for over a year and a half for the previous campaign, and we got a lot of use out of those tiles.
We really did. Did you also want me to come over and help you with that?
No, you don't need to worry about it, because it'd be kind of hard for you to get over here to help.
True.
But I don't have to do this with the second build, but I do want to show them like what this can look like with this build. Yeah, because I know this kind of takes some time, but this is a great chance for us to talk and let everybody know about what's happening on the channel and things like that. I'm sorry if I cut out there. This is a great time to let everybody know what's going to be happening in the chat and stuff like that. Like what are we going to be doing? Anything anybody wants to see coming up?
Alrighty. Well, I have some news from MGS. They will be reopening as soon as El Paso lifts their restriction for 25% occupancy, which makes sense.
Okay. Yeah.
Because it's a little silly to have a game store with a max occupancy of like 10 people.
Yeah, that's true.
Sorry, I disconnected there for a minute. What did I miss?
Just some news about MGS. They're waiting to open
Uh,
until they have more than 25% max occupancy. So you see, like, I'm holding these tiles together, like obviously that fell, but I'm holding these tiles together with just one on each one. I mean, that it does give it quite a bit of structure.
okay.
One of the things too that I like about me switching to the XPS walls is they tend to hold their shape for much longer than the foam core walls. I'm not gonna lie, the first set I ever made of dungeon tiles, after a couple of years, they are no longer holding their shape anymore, and they are no longer really usable, sadly. But I did get a couple of years of use out of them, and I spent maybe, I don't know, $10 making the 200 tiles I made. So I mean, it's not too bad. It's
Not
fairly
at all.
cost
That
effective.
seems pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, investment of time is the big thing. With this is why I do sell my sets of tiles too. Is I know investment of time. Not a lot of people have time. I mean, they do now, but this does take a lot of effort and skill to be able to put this stuff together. Because I mean, I'm like a little miniature engineer these days building this stuff. So now that I have it, I'm working on the cross section. So you'll see I'll push all of these together here, and now they are really, really in there. So this section here, like that's really, really in there. You see, I'm holding the whole thing, even without support on the sides here. I'm still able to hold up this part of the structure, and so that holds it together pretty well. And if you hit it, you're not gonna, when it's all put together, you hit it, you're not gonna break it all apart like you do with Dwarven Forge. This is gonna stay pretty much together, which is nice. One thing too is you can put this stuff on its side, and you can slip all of these in. I hope I brought out enough. I think I did. I try to bring out more than I should need, but we'll see. Yeah. Alrighty, so then this section here, we would go ahead and slip it in. And it's nice to keep it a little loosey-goosey until you're ready to push it all together. But the thing is, like, this part here is why I didn't like Wylock's initial system, and I had to change it because I would literally break tiles trying to get them together. With my current system, I haven't had a single tile break yet. So it's working, and I do this literally every week. Every single time I'm building a dungeon, I'm using my tiles, and I'm using my pegs on them. So okay, so that's that section good to go. Can make some minor pushing and pulling adjustments so that way you can get it all nice and lined up and pretty. But that all just comes with practice and just trying to get it all looking good. Let's go ahead and do this next one. Now, if you're hurting for time as a DM, I don't need to do every single one of these. One of the great things about this, especially if you're going to use like a platter like I have over here, you don't need to do all of this. You only need to do the outer section, which is a lot of times, I'm not going to lie, that's what I'll do if it's like already on the table at the beginning of a game. Like we end it on a cliffhanger and I have to build an encounter area for that cliffhanger. If it's on the table already, I only have these what I need. So I don't have to spend extra time trying to put that together. Like I said, I know this looks like it takes a lot of time, but this is more the thing of, especially if you're playing on a table where a lot of people are going to be reaching and trying to move their miniatures around and stuff like that. It's just nice to have that extra precautionary measure so that way they don't, nobody's destroying the dungeon, that you put so much work into. Come on, get in there. There you go. You don't want them destroying that dungeon you put so much work into. Just by accidentally, rolling their dice and hitting against it or reaching across to try to move their miniature and then knock over walls and other miniatures and other features and stuff like that. So that right there, let me give you guys a good idea of that. That's a pretty, firm structure right there, just with those pegs. I mean, everything is held together with just those pegs. So I mean, that's pretty decent, I would say. That's it. Not 100% holding, because you will get some shifting and movement if you move it around too much, but that is pretty good. That is pretty good. Now you do have to be careful on some of these pegs. um, I'm not perfect, and I will make minor variations, especially on the bases of the tiles. So that way, every once in a while, on these, when I'm putting it together, I may have to shave a piece of this off with a pair of scissors. That happens. Like I said, I don't use machines. Everything is done by hands and eyeballs for me. So sometimes it just doesn't work out too well. So I'm gonna start skipping, just so we can get this build going up a little bit quicker, so we can get this the rest of this together.
I don't know,
See,
man.
just
This build's going pretty quickly. You know, we started the actual build about 7:45, so it's been about a 45 minute build.
well, I mean, we started putting tiles together about 20 minutes ago, but I mean, just this part does take a little bit of time, because you want to add some structure to this, but it's that's my thing is, instead of you having to pull out a pencil and paper and look at what you want to do on a dungeon, I mean, you can, like how I had my guide over on this piece of paper. I had my guide. You can do that, but you don't have to do that now. You can literally just use these like they're Legos and just play with them until you get the structure that you want. And I'm not gonna lie, I do find myself doing that a lot every once in a while. I'll just decide I want to build a dungeon, and I think I have on my Facebook and my Instagram, I have like a 5-minute video of a huge dungeon I created, just because one day I was like, I want to create a huge dungeon. It ended up being like 400 tiles that I put together.
It was a very large dungeon.
Yeah, and it was made of a whole bunch of different stuff. Like it had caverns, and it had sewers, and I think it had like at least a small piece of every single one of my currently made sets. Now, on anything that's small like this, that's only a couple of pieces, I will make sure that I put a peg into each one, just again to give it more, to have it hold together just a little bit better. And so I'm doing this where I can't see, so when it looks like I'm struggling, it's just because I can't see. I've never done this on camera before, so.
Well, you're doing pretty good, buddy.
Not bad.
Like we were saying, it is a pretty quick build.
Yeah, not bad at all. Not bad at all. Now, one of the things about these walls too is they do have a little bit of flexibility in them. So if you need to readjust them to get your straight wall going, you can. You don't have to worry about them snapping too easily, because they won't. XPS that has been coated in a few layers of Mod Podge and paint are pretty durable. I mean, this stuff is not going to stand up to like kids. If your kids are going to be dancing on these things, they're going to break pretty easily. If your dog gets a hold of them, it's not going to survive. I know Dwarven Forges especially, they really live or die by how tough their stuff is. But I have never seen a D&D player mistreat their peripherals the way that Dwarven Forge expects people to mistreat their peripherals. I've never seen that.
I mean, I think the worst treatment I've seen D&D peripherals get is at game stores, where it's on the shelf. You get people who just
exactly.
don't care about it. They haven't paid for it.
So that right there. Now, this doesn't have all of the pegs in it at the back end, so you can tell the difference between how the back is holding up to how the front is holding up. But even with just a few pegs in it, like half of what I would normally put in, that is still has quite a bit of structure to it. So I would typically put these on my serving trays. So that right there, I can move the whole serving tray around. Doesn't matter. I hope that's not too loud on your guys' ears. I just realized that, because it is scraping against the table. Okay, so that is an encounter area there. Like, that's pretty good. You got areas here where you could have enemies or archers hiding behind, taking cover behind walls to shoot at the people as they come through. We do want to have our hallway, and I tend to need, here, let's do this one. This one looks cool, so we'll use this one too. So I tend to need about 2 tiles worth, because I have, my parties tend to be, actually, we'll have to do that the opposite way, but my parties tend to be of 5 or 6 people. So that tends to make it a little harder to get everybody on the map. So I tend to have to go with 2 tiles. Put a lava pit in it. Like now, yeah, you would have had to tell me that before. But yeah, like this, I think this is a pretty decent little area. You have lots of movement you can do. You have a large area in the middle. So if you have like wizards in your party, they could easily have a lot of area spells that could be very effective in this place. But there's also plenty of places to take cover. I could see in an area like this. Now we haven't put any features here, but if you want, like, we can throw a few features down. Like let's say in the center of this room, maybe there's a dead god in this room, and that's his dais where he sits. Let's see, I have tons of stuff. I have coffins. What do we say, guys? Do we want to have coffins in this place? We want to turn this into a crypt?
Sure, that sounds like a good thing. It's got the.
Wait, when you say dead god, are you giving us some foreshadowing for Guns of...
Not even close.
Sorry, I was trying to get info.
Yeah,
That
you're
is a
always
nice
trying
try.
to info, and it never works.
That's the thing.
Alrighty.
You'd think I would be able to get information, but
So
I don't.
let's say I like this in the four corners. We'll just have each, like maybe this is some of his like in life, some of his supporters that were like, really powerful and influential. Maybe they get to stay near their god, so that way, you got some there. I mean, or we could put them in here. How about, yeah? Let's do that. Let's put them in here. Let's do that. So we got 4 of these guys. We'll put them in the corners there. Well, what else? Do we want anything else in here, guys, or do we want to call this one where it sits?
I
What
think
else
that's
you guys
a
wanna
pretty
do in
good
here?
build. It looks nice. You could probably put some storage stuff like barrels or
Like boxes
something.
and crates, and yeah, we can do all sorts of that stuff. I mean, I got tons of boxes and barrels and all sorts of good stuff.
Or maybe
see.
some stuff for people leave tribute for it.
Yeah,
Hey,
like
Joe.
an altar. Yeah. Hey, Joe, how you doing? Yeah, we could do like an altar. That would be pretty cool. Let's see. I got a nice little altar that we could put like right here at the foot of it, where you can leave like any of your little trinkets.
Offerings or anything.
Yeah, your little doodads or your bits and bobs and all that good stuff. Maybe a rotted carpet that leads to it right there. Let's see, what else do we got here?
There's gotta be some statues and stuff of the place, some like
Oh, you know
religious
what?
imagery and all that.
Yeah, that sounds like a great idea. So how about we get ourselves, let's say this god had 4, count them, 4, since there's 4 coffins, I think it'd be a great idea for us to have 4 of his like really, really awesome followers, in statue form without this place. No, so how about we have each of these like in their own corner of this room? What do you guys think?
Oh yeah.
Now
Oh, that sounds
these
cool.
these guys I made literally just with an XPS foam base that I matched the tile set, and then just took a bunch of the Nolzur's miniatures that I hadn't painted yet, and got them up here. So I think that looks pretty good. It's not the cheapest way to make statues, but they make really good statues. And when you're like me and you have literally hundreds of the Nolzur miniatures, you tend to pick one out of each box that you really like, and the other one just kind of floats. So, what else? What do you think, guys? We think this is good. We want to move on to something else. What do you guys think?
I think it looks good.
Joe and Vince, what do you guys think?
Maybe like a font or something. Like I see it was a water fountain there, kind of as a.
Yeah, I mean, we could do. We can move this thing forward here, where it's like you closer getting into there, and we could have like the water feature behind it. We could either have it like that or that. How do you guys like it?
The first way.
So like that.
Yeah.
Like, and that I think that gives some cover. Like enemies could take cover behind, the sarcophagus here. They could take cover behind the coffins, behind the
Hide
water.
in the water.
Yeah, you could have like maybe some like
Weird
water breathing
things.
goblins. That'd be good, right?
Yeah, and then some weird things just like living in the water. You can't attack with normal weapons.
Yeah, like I think that would be pretty interesting. I mean, if we wanted to, we could add more barrels and stuff. Like maybe this was a temple to this god, but like they've just slowly like, hey, we got to put stuff somewhere. You know what I mean?
Oh, he got turned into a supply closet.
No, it'd be like offerings of wine or beer or whatever. I think that's what they would.
Yeah, exactly.
It's Torian, but
Hey,
as
They
a
would
god.
bring it out for holy days.
Yes, I could see it. If Torian became a god, he would be like, booze, bring the booze.
and bring forth the kegs and lay them
Booze
So
on
you
and
got-
women.
Oh, do we want any torches in this place? Like wall sconce torches or no?
Yes,
Oh,
torches.
you gotta have torches.
Okay, so what would do? Do we want standing torches or do we want the like literal like wall sconce torches?
Well, Wisconsin.
I think 4 would be good. We want to keep the little alleyways in the back in shadow. I think so enemies could hide there. But I think for the sake of aesthetics, we could have one there. We could have one there.
You have to have two flanking or on either side of the coffin of the main god's coffin, kind of like in the.
So you think 2 standing ones on this side and this side?
Yeah, and they have to be like big ones, because it's an important.
Yeah, it's like
thing.
so like not torches but braziers.
Yeah, something like that.
All right. So like bam and bam like that, right?
Yeah, buddy.
All right. So what do you guys think of that? Are you guys liking the water feature or should we remove the water feature? Is the water feature taking away too much?
No, I like the water feature.
It makes sense because we do have the water grates in here, so maybe this is some kind of like water snake god or something. What do you guys think?
I think it's good.
Yeah.
I think the other thing you could do if you wanted to would be move the water feature up front and put the coffin over the back grate. That way you had like a movable terrain feature, like they move it and find the grate they're
Oh.
supposed to go through.
Yeah,
Ooh.
actually,
That sounds cool.
I really like that idea. I'm gonna steal that and pretend it was my idea.
Then the water feature would have to be next to the entrance or something. Because you wouldn't have something that important blocking the view of the coffin.
That's true.
So you could pull the water feature, or you could just put it up by the front entrance. Either
Yeah,
way.
that's what I was thinking.
So what do you think? So maybe like right here or off to the side? What do you guys think? Like
Right
maybe
like
like
that.
right there.
I think right like
kind
that.
of like
They kind of pay tribute to the water feature as they move into the room.
Yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
So we'll do that. Actually, we'll have the pouring water like on the side of where the god would be.
Okay.
So like you could come in and you could throw coins into this side, move around to the other side, see the dead god or
Move the
whatever it
water
is.
feature either like a little to the left or the right.
So you mean
Like-
like right there?
Yeah, like that way you can see the god as you're walking in, like so it's not blocked.
Yeah. Well, if we really wanted to do something crazy, we could actually elevate this tile in the center and put the sarcophagus up there.
Or could you elevate the
Yeah.
tile back by the wall?
I could, yes, very easily. The one with the grate.
Yeah. The one the sarcophagus is on currently.
Okay, so give me a minute and we will do that. Like, we don't need to do a second build. We can just focus on this build. Make this the best thing that we possibly can, right?
Sure. Sounds like fun.
So, here's what we'll do with this. Now,
It's
this
so
is
useful
why-
that they're all like you can kind of customize it that way.
Yep, that you can just remove it however you need to. You can just remove a single tile can be removed if you need to. So let's see. Let's check. I want to look to see the height of my stairs. So I think one of these is going to go great. And that's not meant to be a pun,
I was about to make that.
but we could do that.
Oh yeah, that looks great.
Sure does. You beat me to it.
No.
And now what we could do as well, we could make some minor adjustments. We can move a few things around. We could add some more stairs if we wanted to. Like we could actually remove these here and make them solid walls. and just leave those two sides open. Maybe make like a secret door on both of these where you could get through, so enemies would have an advantage there, which would help would allow us to cover up this side, the sides over here, which would be fine. I mean, what I could do instead too is I can add this here, then add this here, and then add that there. Yeah, I think that looks a little better. And then we could add that to the top of it. I think it'd look better like that at that point. Keep these on, like on the next to the stairs, I think. And then we could still have the water feature there, and you could still see it, even with the water feature in the center.
That's true.
So what do you guys think? You guys like that?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, are we gonna end up seeing this soon?
Well, the chat didn't really decide this build. I think we kind of made this build. So maybe let's now that we got some more people in the chat, how about we open up the build again while I tear this down. I'm gonna take some pictures first, because obviously we worked hard on this. So I'll take some pictures. We'll tear this down, and then we'll have the chat decide on what our next build will be. How about that?
That sounds good to me.
Sounds good.
Alrighty, so Vince, if you don't mind putting the picture back up while I tear this down.
Successfully created the account. Do you need this anymore?
I don't know if he's still listening to us.
He muted himself, so I'm not sure what's.
When he comes back, we'll have him.
Well, the picture is still thankfully up in the upper corner of the screen, so everyone can still see that. So the builds are available. We have 1, 3, A, B, and C, since we did just do build number 2.
So
Yes.
are we transitioning to a new build now, or are we taking a
Yeah, we'll go ahead and do a new build now that there's more people in the chat. We'll see if we can get some more voting going on this time.
Alrighty, so I'll go
I
ahead.
already took a bunch of pictures. We'll put these pictures on our Dyson Dudes Facebook and Instagram, so that way you guys can see some of the builds. I'll also put them on the Dyson Dudes stuff, so you guys can see just what we did today.
Alright, I've expanded the picture with the different build options. If you want to go ahead and get some votes going on that.
Yep. So guys, definitely do your votes on what you guys want to see, and we will get to those as soon as I pull this down. Now, the good thing about this is much faster to pull it apart than it is to put it together.
Alright, did you want to take a quick break while you pull that apart, David, or do you want to
Nah,
go
just
straight into the build?
we'll just go straight into the build. I think we can keep this fairly informal today.
Okie
You want people to see you tear apart the build?
Yeah, I mean, why not? Let's have people watch. Like, you can see how quickly, the build can be. I mean, literally, the build's almost torn. Sorry, didn't mean to bump the mic there. But the build's almost torn apart now. The big thing is you definitely want to keep your pegs. Like, the pegs can be a little tiresome to remove, but, it's not that bad, to be perfectly honest.
Well, and if you're going to reuse those same tiles, you could leave the pegs on there for the next build that you're creating if you're transitioning encounters.
The problem with having the pegs in is it's harder to rearrange things because the pegs will be in the way. But we'll do just like a quick. I'll peg up just the outsides. Since we have a serving tray here, we'll use that. That'll help us be able to get it together without me having to peg the whole thing.
Alrighty, I will be right back, David. I need to refill coffee.
You take your time. We got some time.
Well, we have 3 votes so far in the chat. We have a vote for A. We have a vote for 3, and never mind. The person who voted for A is voting for build number 3. And then we have a vote for build number 1. So far, looks like build number 3 is.
It's looking that way.
2 for 3 and 1 for 1.
I know why we're having a lot of people are drawn to that image, because people just like phallic objects. I mean, who doesn't like a good phallic object, right?
Yeah.
No,
Yeah. Well, since I got my vote of number 2, I put my vote in for number 3 because that's what Vince.
Well, yeah, you did kind of owe
3 for
him
3
since he
then.
did. Yeah, he did kowtow to your initial vote, but that was fun. I enjoyed that. And I'm not gonna lie, guys. Like I said, I do this quite a bit, where it's just building encounter areas, like Atlamana's Embrace. I spent 2 days just building random stuff, just having a good time building that. I had so much fun putting that together.
It's fun to play too.
Yeah, I'm glad you guys had a good time with that one. Like that I really liked that one. That one was interesting because I don't get to do too many of the short dungeon crawls because I know you guys as players aren't huge fans of like long dungeons. You guys like your dungeons to be short and sweet, which is that's perfectly fine. I got no problem with that, you know?
Sally, do you have a vote for which build you would want to do or see?
Probably gonna do a 30-second
Well,
delay.
I think Sally's gonna go with number 3. I think that's my bet.
Yeah.
That's my bet. I don't know why, but I get a feeling. We haven't been friends long, but I think I know Sally pretty well already.
Look at all those corners. You know, it's
Right?
those corners.
Now we'll go ahead and we'll leave the grates out of the next build because we did just use them for this build. So I'm gonna put the grates away.
It's pretty great.
Right?
Oh, but you know that those corners are hotter than normal area.
Yes, because they're at 90 degrees.
Yep.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, you're talking to a father. I have to know dad jokes. It's the law. I mean, I'll get arrested if I don't. I get random calls from Trump's association asking me dad jokes, and if I don't know the answer, Secret Service is gonna break down my door.
As they should.
It's
I
yeah, exactly.
know.
It's a big responsibility being, being a dad. You got to know those jokes.
It's okay, Sally. Don't worry. We all know you meant.
Yeah, we know you meant 3. There's only one truly phallic one on there. Truly. I miss not getting to do my April Fool's joke. I really missed that.
What were you gonna do for April Fools?
I already told you. You guys were going to go into a dungeon and it was going to be a giant dick.
Oh yeah, that's right. You did tell
Yeah,
us that.
literally the encounter area was going to be a giant dick and I wasn't going to call attention to it at all. And when you guys like called me out, I was going to be like, nah, you guys are crazy.
That's right, because April Fools wasn't on Wednesday this year.
It was, but it was also the lockdown. We weren't able to do anything because we had the stupid lockdown.
April Fools, you don't have a life.
Yep. He's like, ha ha, you thought you had a life. We won't beat you up, Sally. Just slap you around just a little. Just enough to make it exciting. Alrighty.
Well, that was a heck.
So
of a
I think
place to
3
come
is
back.
going to win. I don't know why. I have this premonition that 3 is going to win.
There's only one other vote, and that's for 1.
Yeah. No more voted for 1, but obviously.
No more.
No more lost.
I don't think that one's. I don't think your number 1's going to happen. I just got a feeling it's not going to happen. I think we got enough time tonight for one more build. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to. I'm going to give you guys one more minute. We got a couple of extra people in the chat, so. Gonna give you guys one more minute. You guys got a choice of option 1, option 3, option A, B, and C. So make your vote. If you don't want to watch me build a phallic shape object, I would suggest like getting other people together to vote on something else. If you want to see something, now's your time to get your friends to jump on the Dyson Dudes Twitch, have them follow us, and have them vote.
Vote for number 3.
3. Pick number 3, my lord.
Also, apparently, Sally is going to come over to our house and eat all our snacks.
That's just terrible. Why would you do that to me?
Not the snacks.
I mean, of all the things you could do, why would you eat all my snacks?
'Cause
Vince
that's
has
where the
threatened
real
to come pick our coffee. Come on.
psychological torture is at.
But, well, you don't understand. I'm worried because I'm such a snack that I'm gonna get eaten.
Oh, that's just disturbing.
Oh my god, that's just so terrible.
That's bad.
You're the
That's
whole
just
damn
bad.
meal, David.
Hey,
That is true.
don't
That
make
is
me
true.
sing the song, man.
You would know.
Don't make me sing the
Oh
song.
my god. Do the no square.
No, I'm not doing the no square. Maybe when
You want
I
to
have
see
the camera up,
Age?
but not today.
Oh, you want to see me make a dick? Oh, thanks so much. No more. Thank you so much.
It was 3, not B.
Well,
It's
everyone's
okay. We
choosing
still love
3.
you no more.
Okay, so guys, I think that's it. I think I'm making a dick.
Sally says only if you pay her enough for the feast.
Oh.
Disturbing.
I'm not turned on in the slightest. My boner's not confused at all. All right, so let's go ahead and get this built. So, guys, it looks like we're going to use the same door, or do we want to give a nipple on this penis?
Give it a nipple.
All right, so we're going to use a 3-walled section to start this off. This is going to be our entrance into this place. So I do have a working door, as again, all my doors work because I am, I don't know, narcissistic, I guess.
A job.
And my doors have to
That's
work.
why the doors are not out of a job. That's why they work.
All right. Okay, so then
I'll
let's
be
go
right
ahead
back.
and get this section set out. So we got these two here. We're just going to do the outer walls, and then we'll fill up the inner walls. Though we're going to need some. Ooh, I got some. I'm going to have some questions. Do we want doors leading into this place, or do we want archways? Because I do have all of my angled archways here, and I will need to know that fairly quickly. You think archways?
Yeah.
Alrighty. So we'll do that. And we will do that. And then we will do that. So we'll have our archways right there. And I'll have to put that there in just a little bit. I'm going to put this guy to the side because he's going to fall off currently because I don't have him pegged. Because apparently I do a lot of pegging in my life. I never knew. So now we'll get these. And then we will get our rounded walls, because it doesn't look like balls if they're square, right? You got to be round.
Will it fall off?
Alrighty, so then we'll get another one there. We'll do another one there. And we'll get another couple of these rounded ones. And then we'll go ahead and do another straight wall there. Or, or a bi-curious wall, however we want to do it. And then do we want archways on this side as well? I think we'll do archways on that side. Yeah, I don't see a reason not to do that. Actually, I do see a reason to not do that. But we'll get to that in just a second, because I think I have made a minor mistake on the drawing of this. I didn't take into factor that I don't have angular walls with entrances. So you may just have to do this the not as cool looking way. Oh, no, that's not true. We can still do it. No, we're going to have to do it the not as cool looking way. That's okay. Again, I'm missing some of my archways here, so that's just the way we're going to have to be.
What happened to them?
They are at Paul's.
Yeah.
So
Paul bring them.
Yeah, no, not while we're doing this. I'm not going to wait for him to do that. And frankly, it's not a huge deal. It's really not.
It is a huge deal.
I have to disagree with you, sir. I have to disagree with you. Oh, did somebody else come into the chat? Or did somebody leave the chat?
I'm not sure.
Oh, Randolph showed up, so that's Paul right there. You can tell him now to bring the stuff.
Nah, I'm good, and I think he's good too. I think we both got other stuff we got to do. All right. So remember how I was telling you guys earlier that I use a lot of these straight, like single walls with floor. I've used so many that all the ones I took out preemptively are already done. So I got to pull out another one. Yeah. So as you can see, I will use a ton of those. Those are the most common tile that I will use, followed by the corners that apparently are 90 degrees.
Yeah, they're hot. It's pretty hot in the corners.
Apparently so. Apparently so.
Sweating.
Okay. So this is a much smaller area. Where's the lightsaber, you son of a bitch? Okay, there's lava here. You just can't see it.
I don't know. I'm kind of feeling the need for some lava, David.
God damn you guys. I don't have any of my lava stuff with me. You sons of bitches. It's like all my mushroom stuff is like, that's the thing is like this should have mushrooms all over it, you know, but all my mushrooms over at the studio.
Oh man. Don't know what to tell you.
We
Oh,
just
I wish you
have
would have
lava.
told me. I would have rushed him over.
Paul!
I know you would have.
Oh,
I
it's
know you
bad.
would have. So this is something that we can do is like an every once in a while thing. If you guys like this style of stream, let us know. We're typically on Mondays we would do board games, but obviously we're not able to gather, so we haven't been able to do board games in a long time. But if you guys like to see stuff like this, let us know, and we will continue to do it. But
Yeah, we don't have the right magic for the gathering that we need to do.
yeah.
Do you want red construction paper to be your makeshift lava?
What?
That makes
Do you
sense.
want red construction paper to be your lava?
No, lava's not red. Lava is orange and yellow.
What
Gah.
about magma?
I
Is
think we have
magma red?
orange. We could do
Magma.
magma.
No. If I haven't built it, I can't use it. That's the rule. I can
But
only use stuff that
Ursa
I've built or painted.
lightsaber wants lava.
Well, Urza lightsaber isn't getting lava today. Urza lightsaber is just going to have to get used to disappointment.
Wow, that's
Well,
harsh.
Wow.
Okay.
Right?
Oh
Then
my
maybe some
goodness, Alex.
snow. Snow at the top.
You motherfuckers.
cocaine.
All my snow
Yes.
stuff is also at your place.
What about ash? Is there any ash available?
Ooh,
Um,
mud? We
I
could
can
use
go
some
buy
mud.
I can go buy a pack of cigarettes and make some ash real quick.
Oh man.
I know. I'm so
Aw,
sorry. I
You
only
made
have.
Ursa lightsaber cry.
That's pretty
Uh,
mean, dude.
I don't believe it. I don't believe they're crying. I think they're just doing it for
You
attention.
know what? Just for you, Ursa lightsaber, I will go and find the construction.
Then you're gonna have to cut me off a 2.5 by 2.5 or 2.5 by 5 inch piece, so that way I can put it in the middle, so there can be some lava in the middle. Will that make it all better, Urza? Will that mend your wounded soul?
But Paul also wants snow on top. Should I get white
You
construction?
can't have lava and snow. That doesn't make any sense.
Have you been to Iceland?
That's true.
Exactly,
He's
David.
not wrong, David.
Okay, you know what? In my world, that can't happen. Okay, the physics in my world are different. So fuck you guys.
We have broke the DM.
All right.
Nah, never.
So
Well, I mean, we really could. But I'll be right back to get construction paper.
I gotta throw this out here, man. There was a gem of a Marvel movie that got canceled that we should have had, and it makes me
What?
sad.
Is it Snowflame?
Tarantino planned to direct a Luke Cage movie with
Oh, that would have been great.
Lawrence Fishburne as Luke Cage.
Oh, that sounds
Oh, that would
amazing.
have been so good. That would have been so good. Oh man, why would you have to tell me that? You just ruined my whole night.
I'm just saying, I had to share my sorrow on that one.
Oh, dude. Well, it has been shared, and it is shared.
Also,
I'm
before the Netflix Daredevil reboot, there was a better one.
See, I don't know better or not because I really like the Netflix Daredevil.
Jason Statham as Daredevil.
No, don't.
No,
I got it.
not the
No, man.
Statham.
No, man. Like, the thing is,
You
it,
don't
it
know, but not Daredevil.
yeah, that's the thing is like,
British.
it's kind of the same thing as the whole Punisher thing. Like, I love the guy who plays Frank Castle now. I can't imagine anyone except
Tom
Tom
Bravo.
Jane being him. Like, I think Tom Jane is still my favorite one, but the Tom Jane from Dirty Laundry.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was good.
No,
Yeah, that one is.
I want Tom Jane Punisher back, dude. That was. I know he wasn't the most loved, but it was good.
Well, the thing is, I like John Bernthal's Punisher the way he was written, and like how he was basically, John McClane of superheroes, which obviously Frank Castle is the John McClane of superheroes. I like that,
Yeah.
but I just like the acting of Tom Jane better.
Yeah, the Bergenthal one is good. It's a different Punisher. I think the Tom
Much
Jane,
more angry.
Yeah, it's angry instead of sorrowful, and
Yeah.
um, resolved. So instead of that, okay, I'm resolved to take care of this because this is what needs to happen. It's I'm fucking pissed,
Yeah.
which is weird because I usually side with the fucking pissed character.
Yeah, but Tom Jane did such a good job. Like, I think his movie was just too. It was maligned unfairly.
I think he deserved a better villain.
Yes, yeah. The problem is like they got John Travolta, but they didn't get like Broken Arrow John Travolta, which is what they needed. Instead, they got freaking Saturday Night Fever John
Yeah,
Travolta.
they didn't get Broken Arrow or Face Off.
Yeah. I mean, back when he was good.
They got disco dancing in white pants.
Yeah, exactly. See, I wasn't a big fan of his portrayal of the bad guy. And I know a lot of people were upset. It's like, well, he didn't even get his revenge because, like, he didn't kill the wife. He didn't kill the freaking the right-hand man. He had the bad guy kill him. I'm like, yeah, dude, that's kind of worse.
No,
Like,
that's
when you find out I made
100%.
you kill your wife, your best friend, and I made you kill your wife. Like, god damn, that's terrible.
That was a better way of doing it. Any movie he can just shoot the wife in the head and blow the best friend's dick off. Come on. That's action
Yeah,
movie 101. But turning it into where he screws with them and makes him kill his loved ones, that's better.
Yeah, that's like you don't see that every day, like that's not something you see in most revenge movies. So that, to me, that was fucking cool. That sounds like something the Punisher would do because he doesn't go for vengeance, he goes for punishment.
Yeah.
Alrighty. I think
So-
though I'm gonna have to do this real quick because I want to give no, I cut that off, never mind. So yeah, we're gonna have to do it this way. That works though.
What was the measurement for the lava?
2.5 by 5.
Are we going to have lava?
We're gonna have lava because Urza lightsaber deserves lava.
There we go.
We're gonna have sharks with freaking laser beams on their heads.
Freaking sharks with freaking laser beams.
Only if they
Well, if
swim
you want,
in
we-
lava, bro.
What do we?
Sharks.
That would be scary.
That would be scary. Freaking sharks with freaking laser beams. Okay, so
Oh,
we have our
laser beams.
phallic dungeon created, but what features do we want in our phallic dungeon besides hair around like this area?
I don't know. What is
How did
this
I know
room?
it was
What
going
is
to
the
turn into dicks? How did I
purpose
know?
of this room? Other than
What do you guys
looking
think?
like a dick?
What should be the purpose of this room, guys? What do you guys think?
Oh, it screws over people.
Well, I know you need a main chamber coming down, maybe like a smaller chamber inside a chamber from the ball area up to the tip.
Oh, you son of a bitch. Why would you do that to me? You're just going to make me do a dick, aren't you? Like a full-blown dick.
Of course.
I knew it.
You
Sounds
asked
like
for it?
Paul.
I'm going to try something really quickly. Give me 1 sec. I want to do something because I really want to get the archway on this. But since I don't have my 2-piece archways, I'm going to have to do this a little different. So we're going to adjust this real quick. I'm sorry I keep hitting the mic. Fuck. I'm an idiot. Sorry I keep hitting the mic. I hope it's not super loud. I got a cat tail on it.
Why do you have a cat on it?
Um, well, we're gonna have to cut that down to size now because I'm gonna make the lava area a little bit smaller. So ha. Well, bring me my scissors and I will do it.
Hey, you could have the lava come um, up from the middle.
Yeah. Lava could be a trap.
Well, I was thinking like maybe we could do some spike traps.
Oh, like we did in ENOS,
Oh,
the
the
one shot.
Alamana's Embrace, yeah.
Yeah, that was cruel.
That was cool. Well, then again, I honestly did not expect to get anybody with it. It's one of those that I was like, really? Okay, cool. Like, I mean, I'm glad you fell for it.
Oh, when we have one speedy guy, go ahead.
And that was a speedy guy who did not want to wait for anything, which is perfect because when you're that fast, you're kind of impatient.
Well, you planned your
Iconic.
trap well.
Yeah, but I honestly did not like most of the traps and stuff I put in there. I expect you guys to be like, "Nah, this isn't gonna happen," and it's like, "Oh, it worked. That's bully for me." There you go. What do you guys think? Does that look better? I think that looks a little better.
Yeah. Yeah, that door adds some character to it.
Yeah, I think it does too. Ooh, hold on a second. I could instead, because I'm enjoying this. Give me 1 sec. Talk amongst yourselves.
Talk.
Talking amongst
talk.
Well, now that we're doing that,
we're very bad at unprompted speech.
I
Apparently.
thought we just did that to drive him nuts.
well, that too. So, how can we get him to make this look more like a dick?
Take the bottom part off and put it to the top part.
Right?
Yeah.
We could round off the top part too. I have more rounded tiles.
Yeah, because right now it
Well,
just looks like a club, like from playing cards.
Yeah. Can we take off the bottom portion and add it to the top and then just, round?
Extended like a long hallway.
And then we
Yeah.
can call it Castle Maximus Dickamus.
Biggest dickest.
It belongs to Biggest Dickus, yes.
All right, fine, you sons of bitches.
Yeah.
I didn't do it, man. You knew once Paul jumped in the chat this was going that way.
I should have known. I should have known. Now, what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to create something here. So we're going to do this. Because we're going to need an entryway into this thing now.
A urethra, if you will.
Oh, God. Why do you guys hate me?
I don't hate you.
You're the one who put it as an option,
You're
David.
my
I
buddy.
didn't even realize it was dick shaped. To be perfect, like I didn't see it as dick
I
shaped.
told you.
No, I didn't see it. I was like, no, that's not really dick shaped. Like, no one's gonna think that's dick shaped.
Lies.
I should have known. You fuckers would make anything that looks even remotely like a dick. Like, oh, that's a dick, right?
I thought it was like a pit room or something, like where you would throw bodies or something.
Hmm.
Well, admittedly, the first thing he was drawing looked more like a butt.
Yeah, that's when I changed it because you're like, it looks like a butt. So I'm like, fine, I'll change it.
That's true. I
You
was
just went
giggling.
You just went around the corner, man. It's okay. You just went right around
Exactly.
the
I
corner.
went instead of fudge, they're making lemonade.
I think the two circular rooms should be barracks.
Oh my god.
Soldiers are there ready to go.
Yeah.
With tiny little soldiers?
Yes, ready to pour forth.
Okay,
You
so
know-
beds are going in there.
Oh, just get in the spirit of it, David.
I've given in. I've given in. It's kind of like, prison sex. Just relax and let it happen, or else it's gonna hurt.
You know, I think we have stormtroopers.
Oh my god.
You know what? Let me just embrace it. Just gonna embrace it the whole way. Like, let's do this. Let's do it. Let's get this embraced. Let's do this.
Is that what
Just
Sonia
like
said?
No, I'm
Oh
doing
my
it.
god.
Get this embraced.
Damn, Joe.
Well, we are building a dick here, so
Bigger and better.
I am blaming you all for this on our page.
Oh.
Though actually, I say we don't call any attention to this whatsoever.
We've been doing this the whole time. It's a little too late for that.
It will call
No,
plenty
no.
attention to itself.
No, they will have to. They will
You should
have
keep
to.
that door in the middle just as a pointless door, so that way people are like, "Why the hell is there a door?"
Oh, I'm going to keep the door there as a pointless door.
Oh no! I was thinking like no walls either, like, so that way like you can go around it.
Oh, it's gotta look. It's still gotta look. You know.
No. See, it's a portal to another world. That people are like, "This is stupid," and they just never go through it.
So
No.
even better, let's use this in a setting and not tell Kyle about it.
Come here,
It's
Just
cool.
wait for
Put it on the board
reaction.
and wait for him to notice. Been like, it's hot in here, and there appears
He's
to
like,
be
"Ooh,
friction
what's
all
this?"
over the wall, like friction marks all over the walls.
And then Kyle will be like, "Ooh, what's
What race
this?"
did you put on FAFSA? What race did you put on?
He'll be staring at it for like 5 minutes, going,
Ah,
Sally wants to know what about Dick Butt.
what dick butt? What
The
about
meat.
dick butt? You want to make dick
Because we're
butt?
talking about a butt, also how it made it look like a butt.
Oh, well, I think we're gonna keep it this way.
You have to keep that opening at the top.
I would have put a door at the top because obviously there should be a door because you know.
It should be an archway.
Mm-hmm.
You want an archway instead?
Yes, with a little foyer.
I'm not building the foyer. I'm not getting that deep into this build.
No, but you already made the foyer with the rounded top.
Yeah, it's circumcised.
We
I was
may
gonna say we should have probably put extra.
make it shiny and call it a chrome dome.
Why would I want to do that? I want to sleep tonight without the nightmares. Without the nightmares of the giant dick that's now sitting in like on my work table, mocking me, mocking all my hard work on these things.
You said hard.
I did.
It certainly was hard.
It's getting harder.
That's a lot of money.
So, on slightly unrelated topics, apparently we're moving closer to actually having sex on the moon.
Oh
Look
my
what the
god.
guys made David.
I know they need to try it out. They need to see how sex works in 0G.
I thought they've already done those experiments.
They have not.
So what they're trying to figure out is how pregnancy works in 0G.
Yep.
Yeah.
And how
That
giving
one I am
birth works in
intrigued about
0G.
because of the lack of bone density.
That's one of the things they're thinking of, especially since
They're
they've
really worried about. Yeah.
done experiments with like other animals, and that's pretty much what they find.
Okay.
I wouldn't mind
You
looking.
giant cunt whistles. There we go.
Isn't that what that?
That's what this goes into. Yes.
No, it is.
It looks like
country.
a rocket ship. With
Like you would have to go from here either into a butt or a vaginal shape chamber. One of the two.
butt chamber.
We can pay 'em off quicker.
Well, that way, I mean, you don't want to get it pregnant, so that is good.
Exactly.
This is your fault.
Not my
I
fault.
take full responsibility.
I blame all of you for this. So this guy's gonna have a low sperm count because only 6 soldiers are gonna fit in this place.
Are they super
That's
soldiers?
what she said.
No, they just come out at high velocity.
Yes, like these soldiers are known. As soon as there's danger, they rush out quickly and with great force.
Swarming or coating
Surprise.
the
If you
enemy,
will.
as you might say.
Yes, they rush forth and wash over the enemy, if you will,
Like a leaf in the wind.
aiming for the eyes and chest.
It was the first roof that popped up.
You know, even for a phallic shaped dungeon, it's still really cool.
Cut off.
I'm doing much better now that I saw the other tuition, and you said the Pell Grant will probably
Bye.
cover all my
I'm
tuition.
done.
So if Pell Grant
Okay,
covers all my
so
tuition,
we
then I'll
have
take the loan.
barracks, guys. What else do we want?
I know.
Hmm.
We're roommates, baby.
A water feature at the top?
No, we already had water feature. Can't do another one. Just did a water feature. Do we want pillars?
A lava
I pay
feature?
for everything on my side of the room.
For Ursa?
We could have the lava sit in the middle right there. What do you think?
No, I know, baby.
Yeah, that sounds good.
I mean, honestly, we should have done this one as the water feature. That would have made more sense.
I mean, you could probably put a
But who-
river coming up across the front.
See.
Maybe some whitewater rapids.
Oh God, I am not doing that.
Waterfall at the
See?
end there.
Waterfall is one thing.
Niagara
Whitewater
Falls.
Rapids is
Ooh,
just.
do waterfall.
You do that for the actual game, like Whitewater Rapids.
This
That
would
way we can have
actually
that as an
be
encounter.
kind of a fun
Do-
encounter area. You have to climb up a
Do
waterfall.
we want pillars on this thing?
Yes, yes, exact. Right there, perfect.
Yep.
How
It
many do
looks
we
like
want?
it's
Do we want 6?
Yeah.
Make sure that they go down maybe in a ladder shape, like a Jacob's ladder.
No,
Oh, Paul,
I think it's obviously phallic enough.
too far.
Did we reach your limit?
No, that's just no. I'm not doing that. Like, come on now. We're not family friendly, but we're not trying to like, hey boys.
Ursa, are you happy with the lava?
Okay, how about we reuse these statues here in the corners? What do you guys think? I mean, just so
Yes.
Yeah.
just so it looks like there's old guard, stuff that's been here forever, like stuck in here, if you will.
A little shriveled up, wrinkly.
So if you were playing it as an encounter area, you could actually have the abandoned barracks with the statues animating as a higher level encounter.
That is true.
Ooh.
That-
And Ursa
yeah.
wants more lava.
Well, that's the only place I can really put lava to have it make sense right now. I have lava tiles; they are not here. I am so sorry, Urza. Forgive
So
me, please.
I hate the fact that I've taken it this far, but you make this encounter area like set into a cliff with a waterfall just under the doorway, and the party has to traverse the waterfall up to the doorway to get into here.
I
Why?
agree.
Why? Just why, Vince?
Because it's cool. And if you're not looking at an overhead view of the map, just imagine the party having to climb up this waterfall into.
I could imagine you guys having this whole like dungeon crawl through here, and at the end, I slowly pan out, and you see it's in the shape of a dick.
Yeah, and then
You would love
I
it.
might be pissed off slightly.
What?
I might be pissed off. Like, really, guys? Really, you did this?
Like, really, David? Of all things, like you did this. I did not do this.
and then you can just title the entire encounter "Assault on Fala Mountain."
Oh my God! I just got an
Ooh.
idea of creating a secret door that leads to the prostate.
There you go.
Do
I
it.
hate you guys for putting that idea in my head. I blame
I'm
you
very-
exclusively.
Would that be going in the back way?
Yes, that would be like we found a secret entrance into this place, and it happens to be the prostate. And when you go in, like all the troops, if you go in through the prostate, all the troops rush out of the tip really quickly.
So horrible. Oh, it's just
Okay,
wrong.
This is why we don't tell Kyle, so it always a surprise.
anything else that we need for the tip?
I actually think that's a good little entryway. You could put some benches along the
Well,
wall.
technically, the entry's over here.
Ah.
Yeah, so the entry would be here. You'd go in there, have to deal with the barracks, fight in the
The battlefield would be at the other end because that's
yeah,
where the
and then
troops.
when you come through here, through the shaft, as it were, like through this shaft, then you come out of the tip. And we could technically make the shaft much longer. Like this is kind of not micro, but it's definitely right around average. And if we're gonna have, a dick-shaped battlefield, we may as well have like a John Holmes dick.
Sally says it's not a peepee, it's a sword.
Thank you so much, Sally. I love you so much.
Ah.
And also the prostrate is the chocolate secret.
Oh God.
So now you know you've got to do a wood paneled room.
The entrance though to the prostate would have to be through the sewer.
Yes, it would.
The chocolate secret.
Make it a.
The rocky road.
So yeah, guys, is there anything else you want to see in this place, or do you guys think this is good?
I think this is probably a good place to end this. This
Before it goes way
experience.
too out of
before
Oh, yeah.
we just
Well, and I
go
can make
all the
this a
way
lot
out of
worse.
alignment.
Oh, I can make it way worse.
I know we all could, but let's just avoid that.
And
Fair
there's
enough.
Sally chanting strong prostrate.
Well,
Yeah.
I am.
Oh, that kind of reminds me of that telescope conversation when I was
Oh my
trying
God.
not to make it worse, and you all were like, "No, we're gonna make it worse."
I had to. He mentioned it, that pretty ladies give him a telescope. And I
well-
went,
Sally has evidence that Cheer did hand him a telescope.
yep, had that fan art.
So yeah, guys, I think that's gonna do it for us tonight. I hope you guys enjoy. Actually, hold on a second. We can't end yet, guys.
What?
I need a name for this dungeon.
Stone erection.
Vince
No.
had a name for
Phala
What was your
Mountain.
name? What?
Phala Mountain. Phala.
no,
a
no.
dungeon
That's
of
too
Phala
obvious.
Mountain.
It has to be with an F, so other people don't really realize it, and then they get in there. And it's like, oh,
Phala Mountain. Then. Dungeon atop Phala Mountain.
Does anybody else have any suggestions? We'll wait for chat to catch up. Chat, if you have any other suggestions, please. The one to beat is Phala Mountain.
That sounds like David's really begging for something, anything else.
I want to see if somebody can come up with something even better than that, because that's pretty fucking good.
All right.
So we'll just give him a minute. We'll just give him a second. It's all good. Well, we'll give him some time.
Nomar says the grinder.
That's pretty good.
That was pretty good.
That's pretty good.
The Gladius.
The
Not
Gladius
bad.
from Ursa.
Not bad. Not bad.
makes
No,
sense.
I want to see what Sally says, or what's it called? Tranny is about. I want to see what either of them put in there.
A tyranny? What?
Tyranny is about. I'm sorry. Tyranny isn't about. Okay, sorry. That's apparently. Well, I'm looking at a giant dick, so maybe that's just in my head.
I didn't say anything, dude.
Literally, my face is inches away from a giant hog that would rip me in half.
Well, I don't know what you're talking about. That is a well thought out encounter space that has absolutely nothing to do with that shape.
Exactly. It has lava, David. Think
Yeah, how
about
did
it.
lava come into play?
I thought we were gonna build like a library or something. Like, this would be.
We
fun,
could still have a library in the shaft.
That would probably happen in. I think we
Mhm.
can make a library and build one or build C.
Ooh,
Build
C,
C
definitely.
is the one I was thinking could be a library. I thought that one could have been pretty cool as a library, or even build B, like each section of it is like a different, section
Oh.
of the library type thing.
like, oh, here's the history, here's poetry, here's etc.
Exactly. Exactly. Um, I, I,
Here's
I,
the
I
closest
struggle
stuff
putting books
that you
into the
can
shaft
feel with.
of um okay, so I'm not seeing anything else from the chat. So what do you think, guys? Is it gonna be the grinder or is it gonna be Phallus Mountain
Falla. Falla.
or
Fala
Falla Mountain?
Mountain.
I mean,
Fala Mountain.
it
I do kind of
depends.
like Foul Mountain.
Me too. I
Oh,
feel it.
okay. So the Dungeon of Falla Mountain. Now, I refuse to post this to our Facebook and our Instagram, so I'm going to be sending you the pictures on it, so that way you can go ahead and put
Oh
uh,
no 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 no!
Falla Mountain. So yeah, that's what's going to happen. So I'm going to take a bunch of pictures of this before I tear it down, because that's what you do. I mean, technically, we are about to send a dick pic to every fan of Dyson Dudes.
Probably the
Oh,
best
so
one they want.
wrong.
Yeah,
Oh my god, guys!
this is probably going to be the best dick pic anybody has ever received.
It won't be unwanted at all.
Not even a little bit.
No
So
random
yeah,
group chat.
I hope you guys enjoyed it. I mean, I hope you guys see that. I mean, I know this kind of got off track and we got into building a dick, but I hope you guys see like the tiles are still very set. Like this one here is a kind of a weird shape, so it's kind of in two sections, but that's okay. I mean, you could. I tend to do make my stuff in sections so that way I can put the sections out on the board as we play. So as you're revealing things, so you can keep things in the dark as people are going, or you can just do what I did with Atlamana's Embrace and just like cover areas with construction paper. Like this apparently is a well of herpes, I guess. um but yeah, I
I
hope
think
you
that
guys have
kind of shows
fun.
the versatility of your builds, dude. The fact that you can grab a bunch of tiles and make that, which is off from the preset build, which is up in the corner there. Not bad.
Yeah, I mean,
And
and
the
that's one
fact
of the
that
things that I
it
do
actually
like
has a
about these
dungeon,
tiles.
it's not too bad as a dungeon, surprisingly.
Yeah, I mean, for all of my belly aching, it's not a it's only a phallus if you think it's a phallus. It's not a bad shape to this. I mean, technically, we should probably have walls here and have this like sectioned off.
Put a
Like you want
door
to need
there,
this
that way it
door.
can lead
Yeah,
deeper into the dungeon. That
yeah,
dude,
yeah. Like because the balls technically don't connect. But I mean, so this right here is like, no, it's not testicles. Testicles don't connect like this. You freaking weirdo! Like, learn
exactly.
your
Don't be a pervert.
biology. Yeah, don't be a
One,
pervert.
2, 3. Okay, it's all there.
Well, if you suddenly decide to run like a campaign full of drinking and after darkness, then this would be perfect for it because it'd probably be full of adult humor.
Yeah, and we do have, like I said, this was gonna
Dear
be.
Lord, the
I
My
was
Little
going to
Pony.
make a giant dick as part of your
Yeah,
my
the My
April Fool's
Little
joke.
Pony one. Oh man.
Oh my god,
Oh
yes, the My Little Pony one.
Jesus! If you guys want to have a horrifying, if you guys just want to ruin your whole
Well,
night, watch our My Little Pony game.
It
you
is
said
definitely not safe for work.
No, no, it is
Not
no, that
safe
is
for
not
work.
safe for work at all.
It's not safe for anything.
Yeah, it's really
safe
not.
for sanity.
Even bronies were like, guys, calm down.
Dude, that's all his wife, man. Come on.
Alrighty, so do we
True.
have anything else for tonight, or are we just about good on the build, David?
I think this is it. Guys, I think what we're going to go ahead and do is we do have a commission for art that should be finished this coming week. So I think Vince had a great idea. I'm not going to take credit like I said I was going to, but I think Vince had a great idea of let's go ahead and for our typical Monday stream, like this is technically supposed to be our Monday stream, but for next Monday stream, why don't we show off a bunch of our fan art and talk about like the various art and stuff like that and really shout out the artists that have given us stuff. What do you guys think about that?
Yeah, let's do that.
I agree.
Yeah, I think we should
Sounds
like
good.
focus on the artists, that have done it. Like we got that one from the unnamed person of Caliph. We've gotten a couple of other pieces. Like my kids have made a few pieces of fan art for this, so we'll show that off too. So I think I think that's a great idea, Vince. I think we should definitely do that for our people.
All right,
For the artists that have taken the time to do stuff like that for us. That'll be great.
sounds good, buddy. And for those that didn't hear what's going on tomorrow, you want to
Oh yeah. So tomorrow. So I didn't have a whole lot of time. Yeah, Sally, we love the telescope drawing you did, but I don't have the time to get the superhero stuff completely done for what we may be doing for Limitless Adventures. We may doing their five evolution line of RPGs, but I don't have time to build an adventure for that right out of the gate. So I do have something that's already built and is ready to go for the Wizards. So the Wizards that just escaped from the Roaring Mines, we're going to continue playing them. I don't see a reason why we shouldn't. So we're gonna get them back onto the table, and we're gonna see what weird mind bendy or just straight out adult oriented content I have planned for the Wizards.
Well, hey, good news. You just got the build for it.
Well, that was
Right?
the idea of this, was to have a build made for tomorrow's game session, or at least for the Wizards line of stuff. I may have to go with the first build,
Probably a little better. Good idea.
Might be the better idea.
but we'll see. But we'll see. Maybe we'll see. We'll see what happens with that. But guys, thank you very much for joining us. If you guys did like this kind of content, let us know. We are trying to figure out other things to do on Monday, since we can't do our typical board game thing, because I refuse to play board games online. I refuse. Like, me playing board games is my time to spend with friends. So I don't like the idea of doing that online. I want to be able to, if I can't reach out and touch you, I don't want to play a board game like that. You know what I mean?
Board games and social distancing don't mix.
Yeah, exactly. We're hoping here soon that El Paso will lift some of the restrictions and we can get back to 10 people in the same house again. Once we get to there, we will be back in our studio and doing our gaming how we have been. I believe that's the plan, correct, Paul?
As far as I know, yeah.
Like,
It's-
we are
it's-
waiting for that because we don't want to have to wear masks while we're in the same room together. Because right now we may be able to gather, but we would all be in masks.
I mean, I wouldn't like if we had to wear masks in order to actually gather. I think I'd be okay with that, but I do know that we'd have a problem with actually keeping the 6 feet that comes with the mask usually.
Yeah, exactly. Which is what
guys, don't you know that the camera shortens the distance between people? Like, we're obviously 6 feet apart from each
Ah!
And we could
Yeah,
always
well,
just
well,
say
yeah,
we
we'll-
filmed it in New Mexico.
yeah, we'll get little
Wow.
grabby claws and move
Uh,
everything around
New
with that.
Mexico actually has tighter restrictions, so
Yeah, they do now.
We could
Well,
say filmed
the-
it in Mexico.
I mean, the good news is technically, we could have 4 people there and me, because the tables are each 6 feet long. We put 2 people at an end of a table, and then me. I'm like 8 or 9 feet away from you guys at all times, anyway.
yeah, but that's
More
But we'll
than
talk.
that.
We'll
figure it
talk
out.
about that off stream. Yeah, we'll figure that out. We definitely want to gather back up as soon as we can, because that's the type of D&D we like. This is not the style of D&D that we like, but we do want to do more things for our Monday streams, more things that are oriented with, dice and dudes or board games and things like that. Every Monday game doesn't have to be board gaming. It could be stuff like this. If you guys like this stuff, or if you guys like our character leveling and our character creation, or just talking about whatever BS you guys want to hear about, definitely let us know. You can email us if you like at Dyson Dudes, the number 9 at gmail.com. And that's Dyson Dudes 9 at gmail.com, not Dyson Dudes, the number 9, but Dyson Dudes 9 at gmail.com. Email us, let us know if there's anything that you guys want to see, anything that you guys want to do. If you want to see a particular adventure run, if you want to see a particular game style run, if you want to petition for a guest spot, things like that, definitely hit us up. Let us know. We do try to set things up pretty far in advance. Our typical games are very story oriented and very character oriented, so we do like to have a lot of groundwork laid for stuff like that. But we will go ahead and call it here for tonight. I think 2 hours is a good stream for this. So we'll go ahead and call it here, and we will see you guys tomorrow night at 7:30 Mountain Standard Time for the next leg of the journey of the Wizards. Thank you all so much for joining us. And remember, from us dudes to you dudes, keep rolling dice. Good night, everybody.